Hi friends! I'm going to be playing with some fun stuff today, and I'm going to be kind of talking about a bunch of different things. But the one that I think that everybody can do is coloring. So I have a whole bunch of different supplies today. We're going to try a whole bunch of different stuff. If you don't have some of the supplies at your house, I'm going to give you some ideas of things that you can use to replace it if you don't have it at your house. But also you can just skip it. You can just skip forward in the video until I'm doing the next thing. And either one of those is fine. So I'm going to I don't have a desk or a table. If you have a desk or a table, then that might be a better place for you to color. But I am going to color on my paper, on my board, on the floor. And I'm going to show you some things about coloring that people ask me questions about. So, this is how grown-ups hold a marker or a pencil or a pen. They hold it with their 2 fingers, and they steady it with their thumb. And some people might use their 3rd finger as well, and some people might not. And this is how grown-ups color with a marker or a pencil. But kids have to learn how to do that, and that's okay. Kids are still learning how to do that. So when people are very little, then they usually start by holding a marker in their hand like this. When I say marker, you can fill it in: marker, crayon, pencil, pen, any of the above. They start like this, and they draw with their hand like that. And then kids will learn how to hold it. So instead of holding it with their hand this way, they're holding it in their hand this way, and they sort of know that their fingers are supposed to do something, and they might hold it kind of like this and draw like this. And this might be where a toddler would draw standing up at a table. Usually I see a lot of drawing like this, drawing on a chalkboard or an easel, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. So little kids start with their hand holding it in a fist, and then you progress to where you can hold it with your hand kind of pointed downward like this. And then they might progress even further to holding it with fingers, like 4 fingers on the pencil or 3 fingers, or any kind of, there's a whole bunch of different ways that kids will usually do the 3rd step, and then the 4th step is a steady grasp, like adults use. So the reason why I say all of that is so that you, mom or dad, or the adult who's watching this with the kiddo who's watching this, can look at how your child is holding a writing utensil when they write with it, and you can figure out which stage they're at right now. And then you can tell me about it, and then we can talk about what we need to do next. So a lot of kids are still holding it in this fist and writing like this, and that's okay. That's a start. And it's important not to, I don't want you to start trying to change it. We'll talk about it if there's something that needs to change. I'm telling you these so that you can observe them and watch them, but not so that you can try to force a change. So then the other thing that I was going to tell you about is the order that kids learn how to draw. So the first thing that kids will draw is scribbles, like I was doing on the other side, scribble, scrabble. And then eventually the scribbles will start to be back and forth and circles. And that's because kids are going to learn, the first 2 things that they learn to draw are usually circles, lines, and lines going both ways. So I said 2 things, but really it's 3 things. They learn circles, up and down lines, and side to side lines. And that might be where your child is at, or they might be further along. The next thing that kids usually learn to do is to be able to cross lines. So like making a cross or a plus sign. And then the next thing that kids learn to do is usually to make diagonal lines. And diagonal lines are necessary to be able to make an X or a triangle. So to be able to go diagonal is a skill. And then beyond that is doing things like squares, triangles, or X's. So this is kind of the progression that kids usually learn to draw in. First scribbles, then circles and up and down lines and side to side lines. Then they learn how to cross the lines. Then they learn how to go in a diagonal shape. And the diagonal allows them to be able to do things like triangles and X's. And then the reason that I'm explaining all of this is because I see a lot of parents who think that because their kid knows how to draw a circle, they should also know how to draw a square and a triangle, because we think, oh, well, they're all three shapes, you should know how to do all three shapes. But it's really hard to draw a triangle. You have to be able to go in a diagonal line instead of just going straight up and down or straight side to side. So again, this is not me telling you that you need to change anything or push anything on your child. This is me telling you to get curious and observe what stage your child is at, and then we can talk about it a little bit more clearly. If I know how they're holding the pencil or marker and what stage of drawing they're at when they draw. And the reason why I'm telling it on this video is because sometimes when we're hanging out on a live chat, you know, it's hard to get the camera close enough for me to see, or it's hard for them to pay attention enough to, you know, do it right, or maybe you feel like they're, you know, not doing it to their best of their ability or things like that. So anyway, that was kind of a precursor at the beginning, and now we're going to actually do some activities. So when it comes to drawing, some things that we can do to get moving from this grasp where you're holding it in a fist and get more towards holding it like an adult holds a pencil or a crayon. I have these nifty little triangle crayons. They're what I use to color because they make you have to hold it like this. But those are, you know, a special thing that I have at my house that you might not have at your house. But something that you do have at your house might be crayons. And if your child won't be upset by it, you can break a crayon in half, or even smaller than in half. Now, some kids are upset by this and they won't color with broken crayons, but some kids will. Or you can sharpen a pencil all the way down until it's really small, or you can buy small markers. There's lots of different options you can do. And then once you've got the little one, you really can't hold that in a fist. Your fist would be covering it up. So you might have to hold it more like this and draw, or hold it more, whatever fingers it is you're using, we know that it's getting them closer to a good grasp with their fingertips. So breaking a crayon is an easy way to do that. Changing the way that you draw on the paper is a good way to do that. So you might have an easel. I don't have an easel in my office, but I do have tape and a wall and paper. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this in your house, then I understand that. Some kids will take advantage of it and use it to draw on the walls, and we don't want that. But this is an option that I'm going to tell you. Drawing on a vertical surface, an up and down surface, like a wall, or an easel, makes you have to use your hands a little bit differently than you do sitting down and drawing down, looking at a table. So sometimes kids who will draw at a table like this realize that they don't really like doing it like this. This is kind of a weird feeling to do it on the paper, and so they'll naturally hold it into that second step out more like this when they're drawing on the paper. And so that might work for you. If you don't want to do it inside your house, if you don't have an easel or you don't want to put some paper on the wall, you might go outside and draw with chalk on a brick wall outside or something that can be washed off with water. You might draw with bath crayons in the bathtub. There are crayons that you can buy that draw in the bath. They're just like a special kind of wax that washes off more easily. You could, there's like those, Crayola makes ones where the paper doesn't show up any ink. It only shows up if you draw on it with water. And you can either draw on it with a special marker that only holds water, or you could get like Q-tips and draw it with water. So there's lots of different ways that you can try using a vertical surface, up and down surface, instead of the paper being in front of them on a table going side to side. And kind of going hand in hand with that is that doing it on a big piece of paper on the wall, or on the wall outside with chalk, or even on the whole ground outside with chalk, even though that's a horizontal surface. But also, anytime that you're doing big drawing instead of little drawing, that makes you have to use different body movements. So drawing big makes me have to use my whole arm, and I might be less likely to hold it in this fist because and even if I am, then I'm at least stretching up my arm and getting good exercise with it. And it's making me think and use my brain and my body differently and cross across the midline, which is what helps develop the skill of being able to make crosses and X's. So there's lots of things that you can do with drawing, but trying it on a vertical surface or trying it big, either on a vertical surface or on a horizontal surface with chalk or things like that, are a good option. And then I have another vertical surface idea called a box. I'm going to get inside of this box. I'm a little bit big to fit inside my box, but you want to draw with me on a box? I'm going to draw some things on my box. I think I'm going to turn my box into a rocket ship. This is the part where kids can follow along with me. I'm done kind of talking about the theory of it to parents. And if you want to set your kiddo up and they can follow along with me, that is fine with me. But I'm going to turn this box into a rocket ship, I think. Or I could turn it into a car. Or there's a lot of things I could turn it into. I'm trying to decide. I could turn it into a fort. I'm trying to decide which one I want to do. I think I might turn this one into a car. So first I'm going to draw some wheels on my box. I'm going to make some wheels, and this is going to make me practice drawing circles and lines. So that's good for me to practice drawing. And it's okay if it doesn't look exactly like mine, because your car can be different than mine. I drew some wheels on this side of my box. I'm going to turn it around and draw some wheels on this side of my box. Notice how I'm drawing on a vertical surface. I'm drawing up and down instead of on a flat table or a flat surface. Here's all of my wheels. If I had some stickers, I might put some stickers on here. Or if I had some paint, I might do some painting. Or if I had some crayons, which is all that I have, I might decide to make it a color. I'm going to make my car blue because that's my favorite color. If I know any letters, I might write my name on my car. I made it blue on one side, and then I'm going to make it red on this side. All right, my car needs some headlights so that I will be able to see in the dark. And my car needs a grill. And my car needs a windshield. And some windshield wipers. What are you going to put on your car? What color are you going to make your car? There's so many different colors that you could do for a car. I always thought that I would have a car that was blue when I grew up because blue is my favorite color. But my car is actually gray in real life. But if I got another car, I would want it to be blue. I'm going to color this one blue around the outside of the windshield. The windshield is clear so I can see through it. I'm just pretending that it's clear though, because in real life it's actually made out of cardboard. I could color this in really carefully if I wanted to, and if I was really enjoying it, I'd spend a lot of time coloring this in. I'm just going to kind of color the edges so that you know where it's supposed to be colored, but I'm not coloring it all the way in. I don't want this video to be too long. Alright, let's see. What goes on the back of a car? There's some backlights on the back of a car. I'll draw those. They're usually red and white, but I'll color them in red for right now. This is there are lots of different ways that you can do coloring activities and drawing activities. I have a lot of kids who get burned out on drawing and writing. and sometimes that's because people have told them in the past that they're bad at it, or sometimes people make people feel like they're not as good at drawing as somebody else is, and it hurts their feelings, or they try to make them work every time that they want to color, and they sometimes they don't mean to hurt your feelings, and they just want you to be able to color as good as somebody else, but sometimes it does hurt your feelings, and kids get tired, and they feel like they're not doing it right, and they don't want to practice, and they're not doing it for the joy of it. Well, the good news is that every bit of coloring that you do for the joy of it makes your fingers stronger. It makes you better and better and better and better. No matter whether you're scribbling like I am right now, or whether you're being really, really careful, it doesn't matter how good you are able to be. Practicing will still make you better. So, if what you need to do is just to color your car every which way, then go for it. Especially with my kids who feel like they don't enjoy coloring, or don't enjoy drawing, or don't enjoy writing. Guess what? I have made this whole entire car. It's got a windshield wiper on the front and some lights, and it has wheels on both sides, and it has the back lights on the back, and it has these wheels on this side, and on the inside, I know you won't be able to see it, but on the inside I'm going to draw a steering wheel. Another thing you could do is take a paper plate and make a steering wheel. That would be kind of fun. Or you could cut one out of construction paper, and then you could practice using your scissors to cut. I drew a steering wheel on the inside. I'm going to show you with my camera. I had to pick it up though. So, you see inside of my car I have a steering wheel. That's what I'll use to pretend to steer it. So now I'm going to get inside, and I am a grown-up, so I am too big to fit very well inside of a box, but if I was a little bit littler, or if I had a little bit bigger of a box, then I might be able to just sit inside the box and color on the walls and the ceiling of it. And that would also be a vertical surface, or a different, ceiling's not vertical, but it would be a different surface, making me hold my hand up above my head and color on the ceiling of the box, or making me hold my hands out to the side and color on the walls of the box. That would all be really good for getting me to practice coloring on different surfaces than a flat table surface. So these are some ideas. I'm going to take my car and drive it. Now here I come. I need a horn in my car. I'll just have to be the horn. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. Hey, that means get out of my way. I gotta come this way. I could have a lot of fun pretending a lot of silly stuff in my car. I'm going to give you one more idea real quick for, especially for kids who feel frustrated with coloring or drawing, or feel like they don't want to. And I'm going to do it on a vertical surface just because that's what I've got right now. But another fun idea is to color on black with white. It's just different enough from what kids are usually used to seeing that it might be interesting and something new to them. Oh, I made a smiley face. It's hard to see because my camera is not very good. But I made that smiley face. There are lots of things you could do. This is the only one that I brought down here with me to show you me drawing. I'm going to make a square, and then I'm going to make a circle, and then I'm going to make another shape, and this time I want you to guess what the other shape is. Can you guess what that one is? What shapes are on there? I said a smiley face. I said a square. I said a circle. Which one did I not say? A triangle. That's the one I didn't say. So I'm drawing with a white crayon on some black paper. That's just, it doesn't take any more setup on the part of mom or dad, but it's something different. It might engage some attention for a little while or be something new. You can also draw with a white crayon on white paper, and then it doesn't show up. It's hidden. But then if you color over it really gently with either markers or watercolors, then it shows a secret message. So you can make like a secret drawing and then color over it and then there's this, it's like a hidden code or like a spy message that you can do. So that's another fun one that you can do. So these are just kind of some drawing suggestions and ideas, so we kind of talked about the at the beginning, the progression of development of holding writing utensils. And then we also talked about the progression of how kids learn to draw, like what shapes they learn to draw. And then we talked about writing on vertical surfaces or drawing on vertical surfaces, or drawing with full body movements, usually outside or with chalk or on the ground, or in a big box making a car. And some other fun little ideas to try if your kiddo doesn't feel like they want to write or draw or doesn't feel like they have fun with it. So I think that that's all of the things that we're going to talk about this time. But I had a good time talking and playing with you. And I hope that next time you can tell me what color you made your car, or if you made your box into something other than a car. And if you tried any of these ideas and if they were helpful for you. All right, I'll see you later. Bye, friends.